The Web of Karma. Decoding the case of the Hastika, the Chitra, Nakshatra. Welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are going to unravel a highly captivating ancient case study, taking a glimpse into the cosmic law of karma. How precisely, and one could even say, how incredibly it operates. The story we're discussing today is more like a cross-temporal forensic analysis of a past life case, allowing us to see with absolute clarity how a person's past actions shape their present destiny down to the millimeter. Imagine this scenario. You currently possess inexhaustible wealth and an extremely high social status, yet you'll voluntarily abandon it all to pursue a rigorous spiritual cultivation. Just when you are on the verge of success, everything completely flips because of someone else's meticulously calculated plot. Sounds highly theatrical, right? But this was the exact reality faced by our protagonist today, Hastika, the Chitra Nakshatra. This is our investigative roadmap for today. We will begin with the riddle of his present life, then decode his wife's deception and the Buddha's rescue. Following that, we will thoroughly deconstruct the web of karma, tracing back the origin of his wealth, and exploring the echoes of temptation and salvation. Without further ado, let us slide straight into part 1, the riddle of the present life, the renunciation of a minister. Part 1, the riddle of the present life, the renunciation of a minister. Speaking of Hastika, the Chitra Nakshatra, who served as a minister under King Prasnajit, he was the ultimate winner in life. Not only was his wealth vast enough to rival nations, but after ordaining under Sakyamuni Buddha, he became exceptionally diligent, mastering the Tipitaka and even becoming a renowned Dharma master leading 500 disciples. However, things are really that simple. His ex-wife, whom he left behind in the secular world, resorted to every conceivable means to drag him back, secretly orchestrating an ultimate stress test targeting his meditative concentration. His ex-wife's tactics were a textbook example of calculated engineering. She utilized a 3-step strategy to break his resolve. Step 1. She dropped a massive pot from the upper floor to startle him. By observing his startled reaction, she verified that he had not yet realized our hardship and still possessed mundane emotional responses. Step 2. When he arrived to collect alms, she intentionally arranged for people to fake a brutal assault on her right in front of him. Step 3. The most ruthless move. When Hastika became enraged to the point of wanting to kill the assailants, she tightly embraced his feet. Exploiting his strict adherence to the monastic precepts, she urged him to first take off his Dharma robes and renounce his precepts before going to take his revenge. This move perfectly exploited his residual human attachments and protective instincts. Consequently, his thread of reason snapped instantly. In that blind moment of rage,
he actually took off his monastic robes, prepared to fight to the death. But at the exact second he renounced his precepts, his wife's face changed instantly. She exposed the deception right then, and there not a single hair on her body was harmed. Instead, she laughed and said to him, "Since you have already renounced the precepts, and there is so much wealth at home, why don't we stay together and enjoy life?" Just like that, he was dragged hard back into the mire of the secular world, returning to resume his post as a state minister. Part 2. The Buddha's rescue. The story, of course, could not stop there. because the Buddha had long predicted that his fall this time was merely a brief interlude. How much effort do you think it took for the Buddha to bring him back? Exactly once. The Buddha personally went only once. When the Buddha arrived at Hastika's doorstep, his body radiated tens of thousands of beams of golden light. The moment this former monk beheld the Buddha, without a second word, he instantly dropped all secular attachments and followed the Buddha back without a shred of hesitation. He reordained. And this time, he ultimately attained the ultimate liberated state of arhatship. Part 3. Deconstructing the web of karma. Tracing back the threads of time. This brings us to the karmic sequence we want to clarify for everyone today. We must naturally wonder, why? Why did he encounter this specific temptation? Why did he awaken instantly the moment the Buddha appeared? To explain these karmic sequences clearly, we must stretch the timeline exceptionally long, tracing back through 3 completely different eras, from the distant era of a Pratyaku Buddha, to the era of King Brahmadatta, and finally, to his present life in the era of Sakyamuni Buddha. When we lay out these corresponding relationships, it becomes obvious that this is absolutely no coincidence. This is called a rigorous karmic correspondence. The key figures from his past lives correspond to the characters in his present life, down to the millimeter. The encounters people face now, to put it plainly, are the reenactment and echo of their past actions. Part 4. The origin of pervasive wealth. Why was he extraordinarily wealthy in this lifetime? And why did he surrender instantly upon beholding the Buddha? The answer actually lies hidden countless centuries ago. At that time, he was an exceptionally pious and wealthy donor. After the Pratyeka Buddha practitioner he supported entered parinirvana, he established a highly precise vow before the stupa. It was this powerful intent that precisely planted the karmic seeds for his vast wealth in his present life and his absolute obedience to Sakyamuni Buddha. Part 5. Echoes of Temptation and Salvation. To thoroughly clarify the karmic sequence, we cannot overlook the influence of his ex-wife. Let us shift the time frame to the era of King Brahmadatta. At that time, Hastika was a monk, named Jotapala Flame. History repeated itself with shocking similarity. Back then, it was because the princess, the past life of his present wife, embraced Jotapala when he flew into the royal palace, causing him to instantly lose his supernatural powers and ultimately break his precepts. Does this not carry the exact same karmic characteristics as his present life wife using a scheme to enrage him and trick him into taking off his monastic robes? The temptress of the past remains the obstructor of this lifetime. Not only the temptation, but even the element of rescue was a perfect reenactment. In that past life, Jotapala was on the verge of being executed by the king because he broke his precepts. It was his brother Jotapala Sparks, the past life of the Buddha who arrived at the critical psychological second to carry him away and enable him to restore his supernatural powers. Therefore, this thoroughly verifies the law of karma. The sequence of karma is never random luck or coincidence. It is a highly precise, mechanical echo that interlocks like gears. Whatever cause you plant, across countless spans of life, you will taste that precise fruit when you piece all the clues together. Is this karmic sequence not exceptionally clear? Every single major turning point in Hastika's life, whether his wealth, his fall, his rescue, or his ultimate liberation, was entirely predesigned by his past choices, linked chain by chain without a hair's breadth of error. Conclusion: weaving your own web. Analyzing up to this point, we have clearly beheld this incomparably precise web of karma. This brings forth our final reflection for today. If who we are today is merely the echo of countless past actions, then think about it. Every single interaction, every tiny thought, and every behavior of yours today is actually weaving your own web of karma. What kind of threads are you spinning for your own future right now? Thank you so much for participating in today's deep dive. We will see you in the next analysis. Goodbye. This material is shared by the Buddhist Path Association of Australia. Thank you for listening.